right, welcome back to Pro Bikini News Network. I'm your host, John Algandy, and in today's video, we're going to be recapping this past weekend shows that were the last shows to qualify for this year's Olympia, and we're going to be previewing the Sasquatch and San Antonio Pro. So, wow, a lot of news has happened this past weekend. So, it's crazy to say this, but for the first time, I think, in a long time, we've had European winners win in every show, here in the US, and also the last one in Europe with the Europa Pro with Adriana Kazmarek, and that was the third time she's won the Europa when she inaugurated won it when it was in Spain for the first 4 years, and last year it was in Germany, and then last year it was in the UK, this year it was in Germany. So for her to win it three times and to defend her title from last year in a new country, that is incredible for her. I am going to talk about her because she is in one of the shows this weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do at the Olympia and move up. And she's brought such great improvements since, she qualified early last year. I think it was in Poland, in her country. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do. The Rising Phoenix Pro, great show. I had Chris winning it, and I could see why she won it. Although I could look at other girls, I could say what maybe it could have caused them to place lower. And Alice, winning Janet Leug's Battle of the Body show and then her 5th year anniversary. Shout out to Janet. She had 42 girls in that show, the most she's ever had in many years. Also, they added men's physique, so shout out to the guys, for sponsoring that and bringing a men's physique show into that. And also, like I said, you got to show initiative. If you want your division represented at a show, get a sponsor and help with that, because also you got to keep in mind, promoters have to pay sanction fees to the pro league to have that show being up, and if you're going to have a division, you have to have someone back it just to put it up. And they've done so well. Aaron Banks put his own money, the men's physique Mr. Olympia, he put his own money up for RGV Classic for Bernadette's show, and then I think some of the guys that live in Florida put that up, and that's great to see people doing that and doing great for their division. So we have this past weekend shows, and we're on 3.5 weeks before the Olympia, and this month's going by fast. We're halfway through the month. It's already the 17th. Wow, it's coming up. I'm really excited to see what this show is going to look like. I had a couple guests on. I can't wait to edit those, put those up, and see where we go from there. And yeah, so let's talk about which one should I do first. I was going to go over Europa, but I kind of felt like when I looked at them, I felt like I don't think there was any question Adriana was going to win. I felt like the other girls were just too hard, too muscular, too conditioned. Adriana was just like right down the middle. So I'm going to actually pull that up now. But when I look at them, it was clearly between these two at the top. And I would say, if I'm looking from both from the front, Adriana wins. She's more balanced. Her waist is tight and small. Carrie has more of a thicker waistline, so that's kind of why you like it. That's what I take away. Phenomenal physique. It's just I feel like that was the maybe deciding factor, and she did bring her legs down. And it was used to be like very muscular and conditioned. But I just overall, I look at Adriana. That's who I think is like first. But in the back, you're looking at Carrie first. Adriana's a little wider in the back. And obviously you could still work on her glutes. She has a longer torso, so that's kind of one thing she has to like balance out physique. I kind of consider her almost like Evie Eskandar almost in that way, but Carrie wins from the back. But I think overall balance, stage presence, beauty, everything, Adriana takes it. And I can see if I can find one of the videos that BATS TV had. Let's see. Open as well. Urs winning back to back for the Open. That's amazing. He went from Classic into the Open, and I think he could do very well. And I think he's got a great future in this. But that was one of the biggest headlines as well. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, here we go. She does, hold on. Turn that off for a moment. Sorry about that. Like I said, what you see in the photo, being there live is so much better. This lighting, obviously videos and stuff can always tell you the picture, but shout out to Dennis James. He had the show first time in Germany, so and they have great fans. That crowd sold out, but it was mostly the main traction was the open bodybuilding. Yeah. Carrie has better glutes here. So. Tie-ins are good on both of them. Conditioning's right where you need it. Just Carrie has more to her glutes. Adriana, if she had a little more, would be like, but I felt like overall, see them if they walk to the back or they just pose in place. Okay. Adriana just does it so naturally. Man, I'd like to see her win some shows here. I think she's gotten like top 4 in the past, but I think James has done a great job. And also shout out to Coach James Ayotte from Team Athlete. He won this show last year and the Battle of the Body. So he's won Battle of the Bodies now 3 times with 3 different athletes, and he's won the Europa back-to-back. So to win the same shows you did back-to-back on 2 different hemispheres, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome. It just shows you that the quality of work and his craft that, you know, his athlete, and honestly, he has great quality athletes. And I definitely see like 2 of his girls in the top 10 this year. So and we're going to talk about that for the Olympia as well. So, all right. Let me get to my page for the lineup. Let's go. All right. So let's get into, I'll do Phoenix Pro first. Because I felt like the really competitive show was that big lineup in Battle of the Body. So Phoenix Pro, 5th place, we had Marissa. This is much improved than what she was from the previous week. She did look really good at the RGV Classic. From what she told me, that she had a hard time because she ate. She said that she was trying to control her waist, and that I felt like she had gut issues because she had bad chicken. But I felt like it didn't look that bad here. I mean, I've seen her like a little more snatched. Overall, good look. I do think she does need more to her glutes. Her front pose is much improved because, you know, I think back in the RGV Classic, she was like leaning forward. Love the hair, the suit, and the glam. I promised you'd get you a picture where your eyes are open. So this is the best one I got. You know, love the hair on her. This is a really balanced pose. Now, the live stream, it was kind of hard to see, but seeing these photos, they look really good. I just did not like that like firework background that they had in the show. So that was one thing that was kind of like, you know, your athlete's got to look good. I want to look good in my photos. So, you know, great. I love the red suit on her. I think it's great. I think it's really good on her. I do think that maybe I'm not seeing it right, but I don't know if this leg's a little too straight on, too side profile, but it's pretty solid on her. It shows her S curve very well from her shoulders down to back. She's balanced from her shoulders to glutes. So she has the shoulders. She just needs the glutes to match that. And I think she can continue working on that. She's going to definitely keep improving and keep moving up. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's doing. Now let me see what she looks like in her back. Let's see here. Screen. Okay, here we go. Good back pose on her. Hair is great, covering her back connector very well. Could use maybe just a little more in condition. I do think she just needs better upper outer glutes. This suit cut, I did say this. I do think she just needs a little more fabric. You can kind of see her tan. It's kind of like on her lower back. Really well balanced. I do think that another thing is her foot position. Then again, some of the photos, I don't think everyone was really fully posed like on. I do think the foot position could be corrected, but like I said, I don't know. I didn't see I'm just looking at it at photos. I'm not looking at it from like, you know, being at the shows. I always say like being at the shows is a better point of view, but this is really good on her. I do think, like I said, in her front, that's definitely good, but she's, like I said, her back is solid, just needs more like projection and upper glute to her. And also, you know, talk to Margaret, get a new suit cut, how that from Toxic. So that's what I would recommend for her. All right, next up we have Hannah. So she's had a great season this year. She started off, I think somewhere lower in the top 10. Then she gradually moved up. She took second at what was it, Tahoe. One thing I've always said about her is like I think her physique's pretty good. Just needs more shoulders and obviously needs to be better waist. I don't know. I think she was maybe a little flat here because I did used to see her glutes round out, but maybe it was the timing of the show. Like I said, peaking sometimes with so many divisions, especially with masters, would have so many divisions. It goes for so long. So, I mean, bikini's always going to be the last one up. So that's one thing I feel like, and she's the first one's up because of her last name, but I love her hair here. I love her suit. I think she should keep this color. It's like, it really accentuates her very well with how it like everything stands out. Could use more fullness to her shoulders. You do see some vascularity here. Could just use just a little more shoulders, but making sure she's not too vascular. So it could come in fuller. It could come in, then again, I think maybe it was peaking. This pose, I do think she could maybe have this foot more forward so that it doesn't look like she's just like too like uptight. But this is good for her. And I definitely think this is a good look for her. And I'm looking forward to seeing her do well in the future. Okay, let's see her back. So this is a good back pose. I do think she's a little too tight in her hamstrings. Like I said, needs more upper outer glute. She is a little wider in the back, so definitely more width up top, more shoulders could really help her because it feels like her rear delts are a little smaller. Her anterior, her front's good, but her rear could use more, and then just a little more width to make her waist look more snatched. This is a solid, foot position right here. Got great calves, by the way. But yeah, I definitely think that that's something that she can continue to improve on. And I do think suit cut's fine, and she has great like glute genetics. I just think she just needs more upper glutes to help her physique out and bring in her waist. And obviously in the front needs to come in more tighter in her core, and that's something that she can need to work on. And great packages she brought this year, and I definitely think she's going to keep moving up and keep improving. All right, let's go to our third place, which was Brittany. So definitely, I'm happy that what she has placed in the past couple of shows. I don't know if I'm seeing things, but maybe I think her tan was a little too dark. This is a great look on her. Honestly, I do think that she's brought better refinements with her new coach. Obviously her first show, she was 8th, and she's continuing to improve on that. Suit's beautiful on her. I love her hair. I just think the tan was a little too dark. She is a little too vascular. That's one thing I feel like she needs to just come in. Her shoulders are not taken away from anything from her physique. This is a good pose on her. I love the fact that she poses in pace. The hair, suit, glam, everything. Just think, like I said, from pictures, I do think this hand, I would just relax the finger so it's not like pointing out right here. I would kind of like just have it like more curled in. I guess that's what she does. Great look, beautiful look on her. I do love the balance with the shoulders to her glutes. I think she has one of the best glutes in the show from what I've seen. And I definitely think that she's going to continue to improving and refining. And, obviously I just think it's nailing the peak and doing very well. And I definitely think she's a contender to win any show that she's in with the right lineup. All right. In her back, I do think right here it's really solid. One thing about her is she's a little wider in the back. Could use just a little more. She just could use a little more upper glute, just a touch more width. Tie-ins are good. Her balance from top to bottom is pretty solid. She is a tall girl, so she has longer legs, longer limbs. She's a proportionate size torso, so I definitely think that she just needs to come in where fuller and make sure. I mean, how she poses is excellent. How she does everything is excellent. I just think if someone was more snatched in the back than she is, that's where she kind of loses ground. But that's only that's some things that are not in her control. That's just something that she has to work around with and pose to create that illusion of a small waist. She does have a small waist, but it's just in the back. Some people are, a little wide, like kind of like Adriana, where she's snatched in the front, wider in the back. But it's like if you are a little wider in the back, you have to find ways to pose around that and work around different parts to make that look like it is smaller. But really saw a package from Brittany. I'm proud of her. I definitely think that she can continue to improve and move up. All right, next up, second place was Jody. So Jody's had a pretty good ride this season. I mean, she's been always a first call out outside of the Florida Pro, but sixth places, fourth places, top fives. I mean, this was one of the best that she brought this season. I've always think that she has great proportions. It's just how it poses. I do think how she's, maybe, like I said, photos are different, but I do think that she could use a little more how she positions her arm in the front with her shoulders, because you have to make sure her shoulders are to her elbow, to her glutes are in line. I feel like this is pretty good on her. I do think maybe her foot positioning is making her look kind of, I don't want to say it doesn't really look too balanced. I just do think she has to find ways to work around certain things with her physique, and she has amazing genetics, amazing like physique. I just think how she poses sometimes and how she comes in, either like, too soft or too, lean. But I definitely think she's trying, as time goes on, she's going to find that balance and showing how to present that. And I definitely think that was what maybe cost her to be second place. I mean, a lot of people were rooting for her to win. I definitely think I could see that. But I feel like how she kind of poses maybe have hurt her. So let's just see her back pose. Again, this is like an incredible back pose. I think she, like I said, it's a strong back pose, but it feels like it's just too leaned in the back. And you see like where her hamstrings are getting a little too like cut right here. You see calf striations right here. It's balanced, but it's like some parts, it's just looking too lean. You can see a little like leanness in her glutes right here. She just needs to come in, find a way to just come in too full, but not too soft, and come in like peaked and not too shredded. So, beauty aspect, her hair suit, glam, everything's good. The cut's fine. It's just how the physique looks with other girls. Honestly, it could have gone to maybe her or first place, but if I was looking at who was not too shredded or way too soft, or not too watery, she had a great thing. I mean, this is a great pose. I mean, the waist is small from the back. She just needs to come in where it's, everything's like, in the midline where she's not too lean, not too soft. So great package from her. I mean, she's had a great season, a very challenging season, but I definitely think that she's someone to be looking out for in future shows, and we'll see what happens with this new system and how she's gonna qualify. But I definitely think she's gonna be more strategic and pick her shows better. But I definitely think that any show she's in she's someone to be looking out for. All right, let's get to our winner, which was Chris. So going into the show, I had Chris winning because obviously she just won and qualified, and she is a former top Olympian. I feel like in the beauty aspect, she has it. She's brought her glutes to make herself full. So I felt like, even, I don't know how she does it, but like being one of the last people up because of her last name, she's had to hold that condition. And sometimes European competitors come in way too hard, way too lean. But she's got the criteria down in the US. Well, she's won shows in the US. Obviously she won this year. She's won Miami in the past. I think I forgot what it was. She's won Miami. I think she's won another show in the US in the past. She is a 6-time Olympian. So I just feel like her front pose just may be the one thing because of her waist. I mean, she has a longer torso, more thicker waist. And she's shorter, so in his longer legs, but she's only about 5 feet, 5'2". So one thing about her is just how she presents. She's, stage presence, I think she has it down. I think she obviously has the best stage presence and balanced physique. This is a good front pose on her, but like I said, I feel like the one thing that's going to hurt her against top girls at the Olympia is this waistline. So, I mean, she did place 14th at the 2019 Olympia, so that was one of her best looks. She has done the Arnold in the past, so I do think that I'd see her maybe potentially as like a third call out girl, but we'll see how it goes. Really well balanced, beautiful look. I just think, genetic wise, that's just gonna be dependent on who shows up on point. But into her back pose, she had probably the best one. This is a good solid back pose on her. The bounce from the glutes to hamstrings. You see the tie-ins very well. Excellent poser, excellent stage presence. The hair is pretty good. So I feel like she's much better in US versus competing in Europe. And I feel like that was something we're starting to see. It's like European competitors are going, the more conditioned, more harder, grainier look is getting awarded in Europe. But if I come here and I want to really do well, I have to start winning in the US. And she's doing that. I think people are starting, we haven't had a girl in Europe win in 3 years, probably since like Evie Eskandar and Phoebe Hagen in 2022. So for her to come in and start doing this, I think it's people are starting to take note and starting to go, well, you know what? If I want to move up and do well versus just, collect a participation medal, I want to actually do very well at the Olympia. I know I sound harsh saying this, but I feel like they're starting to realize that versus let me just play it safe. And my look that I'm used to winning in Europe is always going to win. But overall, this is a great package from her. She is like, her waist is snatched. Like I said, she's great in the back. Front, that's where she's going to have challenges with other competitors. So someone's just, people think, well, bigger's better. No, it's like, it's just one word. It's better. And someone could be just a little better from her in the front. That's what maybe brings her kind of down. But if someone, like I said, whoever shows up best is going to be awarded, and whoever shows up better is going to be awarded. And I definitely think she was the better girl of them all, and she had honestly the less flaws. I do think the show she took second to Reina, I do think it could have gone either way for her, second and third, but this is a great look from her. I'm proud of her. I'm happy to see that she's, doing well, and she's doing her homework and obviously making sure that she does things to keep on improving. So yeah, that's our show for Phoenix. So then we'll go into Florida. And in our fifth place, we had Taylor. So she's had an amazing year. She had second places, had fifth places, top fives. Honestly, I do think that she could be someone that could be in that, has that potential. I'd say that she has that potential to be in that second call out at the Olympia. I do think here you kind of see her a little washed in the core. I would fix her suit in the front so that, there's better coverage. Great look from her, really well balanced from her. She's confident. She's showing that, bringing that stage presence. Like I said, this photo is like from a bird's eye view. So you're kind of like seeing it from like stage level. This is by JM. But well balanced from her. I do like this front. I do think it could be tweaked a little more. In the back. So in her back, I do think she just needs a little more width up top. Suit's fine. She could just maybe use a little more legs. Tie-ins are really solid. I do think maybe no, it's actually good. Like I said, I think she just needs more rear delts, so it doesn't look like it's too flat. Hair's fine. Great back pose from her. I just think, just continue to improve on that. And, I like the fact that she's going to continue to compete again and again and again so that she can bring a package that could do very well. I definitely think she wants to be that person that doesn't get overlooked and, obviously make herself memorable. And she's continuing to do that and continuing to improve. Okay. Fourth place, we had Sophia. So I'm happy to see her competing. She was already Olympia qualified, so this is good to do a show in the US versus just only doing the Olympia. Great ratios, by the way, but I feel like maybe her delts are just a little too big. Well, that's where I'd look at first before her body. I feel like upper body wise, that's where it takes over her lower body. She just needs more glutes, I would say. Great stage presence, great beauty, great suit. Front pose is solid, just needs to balance her lower body to her upper body. See her back. Her back, I mean, it's insane ratios. Like I said, you can kind of tell from the front she needs more glutes. She has shorter glutes, so she just needs more projection. Tie-ins are solid. Doesn't need any more upper body, just needs to match this lower body to it. Her waist is small. I would crop her hair just a little bit so it's not almost on her like glutes, but it seems to be on her lower back from this angle. Great solid package from her. Just needs, like I said, I think more glutes, more legs to match her upper body. And I think that's something that she can continue to improve on, and we'll see what goes from here. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy, like I said, I'm happy to see European competitors starting to come here and try to compete and, try to do well so they can maybe move up. All right. And third, we have Alice. We are going to talk about Alice. I love the green suit. I'm happy she brought that back. We haven't seen her compete probably since she won Legion. Yes. So she hasn't competed since Legion. She's always been like a contender, top two girl. She is a top Olympian. I do think here she just, like I said, I don't know, maybe it's lighting. But I do think she could be a little more tighter in her core, come in like a little more fuller. But this is a great package from her. I definitely think that it's something, to be contending with. I do see her as maybe as a potentially moving up into that top 10 spot and, being a contender to obviously go for a title. But it's just going to be more time. She is about 5'7", 5'8", so that's one thing. She has to like fill out her frame more and just come in peaked. And I definitely think with a great peak with her in the timing, she's going to do very well. Because of her last name, she'll be one of the last people up. So that's one thing that I feel like she's going to have to keep doing and getting used to. And any show that she's in, she's going to be someone to be looking out for. And I'm happy to see her doing very well and with Jamie and continuing to improve on that. Now, I do think her front can be a little more improved. I feel like she kind of lost her pump in her shoulder, so it kind of looks a little flat. Like I said, it could be different. This is just what I'm seeing. If I'm looking at the girls ahead, I'm kind of seeing what they had that she did not. But I do love this whole package. I do love this front pose on her. I love the suit. I love the blonde hair on her. I think that's Alice. Like when she has darker hair with the red suit, it's kind of like, you don't want to be one of them girls. Like when they're going through rounds of like which one of them was in the red suit. So, I do think the green suits are like great on her, and I would definitely keep this and going forward and, stick with, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So I'd stick to what makes you stand out. What recognizes you, so you're not getting lost in the lineup. Right, in the back, this is really good from the back. Beautiful small little waist. She has shorter glute inserts. So one thing is about like having that projection and that pop to make her really stand out. Times are solid. This is a great back pose on her. But yeah, I feel like her back is probably one of the best. But I feel like in the front, that's where she needed to like be really good on. But great package from her. I'm happy to see her, competing just to try something out versus just putting everything into like one whole show for the year. And I think that's the thing with bikini. It's like you have to like to hold that condition to do that one time a year. It doesn't always go well, but like if you continue to compete and continue to make and continue to compete and continue to peak, you could see where you can continue to work on and keep refining and holding that condition for so long, and then because of your last name and the timing of a show, it could really affect you. So I think doing this and continue to, compete, and she is going to show this weekend. We're going to have to see what she can improve on and continue moving up. But this is a good package from her. I just definitely think she could be just a little more tighter and just a little more fuller. And second, we had Cass. So beautiful look. I love the suit. I love the makeup. This is a really good package from her in the front, and I definitely think she has a great strong front pose here. I just think she just needs upper glute in her front to match out to her upper body. I mean, this is truly amazing physique. I do think that she has what it takes to win a show. She's like right there to win it, and I wanted to see her qualify this year, and I felt like she did shows kind of like later in the year, but she's a contender to win any show that she's in, and in the right lineup. And I definitely think that she's going to continue to improve on this. And I do like everything about it. She's brought her waist in. Sometimes she kind of has distension, but this time her waist is in. Her shoulders are full. This was a good peak on her. Now I do think the reason why she didn't win was in her back pose, and I'm going to pull that up. Do I have it? Oh, here we go. So this is not fully posed, but I will tell you what I see. I feel like her adductors were a little too tight, a little too conditioned. Like you're seeing her quads go out. I feel like her foot positioning really hurts her. But in the back, it was solid how she poses and all. And I had the pictures from the videos and stuff. But like I said, I'm just showing you video here. Hair is good here. If she cut her hair, she cropped it to where it's not on her not on her upper glutes. But I do think she's just a little too conditioned in the back, and that's maybe what knocked her down versus the first place girl who's like not too conditioned. She was actually on point. But this is a solid look from her. She's a beautiful girl. Beautiful look. I do like that she has her own personality with her hair, her makeup, her tattoos, and it's a solid package from her. But I do think she just came a little too muscular, too conditioned, for US standards. And well, we're gonna have a Tyler video, so we're gonna see what he has to say about it. Obviously Tyler's going to the Dominican Republic Pro just this weekend, so it'll be some time I think before the Olympia before he puts out a video. Obviously, probably within the next 2 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks, we'll see what he says about the athletes here. All right, and our winner. There's Alice. So this is her first time working with a new coach, James, and I'm happy to see that she was competing here. She did take second at Indy Pro, so she was almost right there to qualify. She did qualify in the Europe show, but I'm happy to see her win a US show because I definitely see that she has a great physique and continuing to improve on that. I remember when she won Romania a couple years ago against Valeria, and it was 1 point difference, but she had probably the best physique, and right here. But I do think right here she just needs maybe a little more shoulders. This is a really well balanced physique, really well proportionate. You're tight, beautiful look, red suit, makeup's great. I do think that maybe that she just needs to just, like I said, if she continues to keep this trajectory up and continue to compete here, she's going to only continue to get better. And I'm happy to see a European pro. There hasn't been an Italian pro that's won a pro show here probably since Francesca or what's her name? She won a New York Pro many years ago. Mariella Pellegrino. And I always thought that she could have been a potential top 10 girl, but I felt like she wasn't competing here as much, but that's why. But I do think this is a solid look from her. I do think this is really well balanced, the flow of her physique from top to from upper to lower body. Really good look on her, beautiful look. I do think in her back is just where she's going to have to need some improvements. I do think she just needs a little more, glute fullness right here. Right. And like I said, some of these some of the girls didn't have fully set in back poses, but from her back, it's well balanced. She does shorter glute inserts, so I do think maybe she could use a little more legs, a little more glute projection to help her out. Got great calves, by the way. Calves don't matter. I just some girls have great calves, but I'm happy to see that she's doing well and she's performing very well in the US. So she took second to Ali and Indy Pro. So that's one thing I continue to see that she's continuing to improve on and continue to compete here and do well. She is competing in the Dominican Republic show. So I think, I'm not going to review it. There's only 9 girls in it, but I do think that we're going to assume that she's going to win that show unless someone else does. And we'll see about that. But yeah, I'm happy to see I'm happy to see her doing well. This is, she's got a lot of potential. I do think she has a beautiful look. I just think it's got to get used to competing here and getting used to criteria. And I'm happy to see that she's doing that and, continuing to keep getting better. And, all right. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. So that's my shows for this past weekend. We're going to preview our 2 shows. So starting this week, is the 2026 Olympia qualification. So, you have to win 2 shows to qualify. This is a point system. So winner will get 10 points. Second gets 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we'll see how it goes. Sandy's judging Sasquatch. I think that's going to be one of the shows of this weekend because Ben Quill and Jeremy Buendia, the former Mr. Olympia for men's physique, compete against each other. And, I'm excited to see that. I talk to my teammates who are men's physique guys and, I'm a classic guy, but they're like, this is going to be show of the week. It's like, I got to watch this. It's like, this is something you just cannot miss. Jeremy hasn't done a pro show since he won the Olympia in 2014. All he did was just the Olympia. He's never done an Arnold. But Sasquatch has got over 30 girls in it. And San Antonio has about 21, I believe. Yeah, 21. And we do have girls that are already qualified for this year's Olympia doing it. And I do think they're trying to do, and there's nothing wrong with doing a show before the Olympia. A lot of people are just putting it all into the Olympia, but to continue to compete and see where you stand and what you can do to improve on and to adjust certain things to go, you have nothing to really lose here. So we'll see how that goes. So first, I'm going to probably preview San Antonio because that's a little smaller show. Let's see. I'm going to exit out of these things right now. Oh yeah, I wanted to see how I did. I'll just show you guys how I did. So looks like for Battle of the Bodies, I got 52% right. Christina did not place. I mean, all the girls I had placed somewhere. The only one that was not in the top 10, the only two that were not in the top 10 that were just outside of it was Jasmine, the Miss USA winner, and Christina. So, I mean, all the girls placed well. I had some people low and they impressed me. And like I said, I like to be proven wrong. I like to be, see what I could do. And what shocked me was Hope getting 10th. I had Hope as like one of the top girls. Cass, I had a little lower, but she impressed me a lot. Lana was outside the top 10. So, some Olympians are outside. We're outside the top 10. Some girls were like lower than before. Yulia, it could have gone either way with her and Taylor for 5th and 6th, but I had them like really close to each other. Let's see, Phoenix Pro. So I was more accurate on this. I had Krista Bellina right. I had Marissa right. Fatu, I felt like she was kind of like fading with the posing, so that's why I feel like she got 13th. Abby, for her pro debut, she got 11th, so she's just outside top 10. Aisha was outside top 10. They're really close. I was almost close. Irene, was 7th, and she's someone to be looking out for. Tori got 6th, and Brittany got 3rd. Yeah, but I could see why some of the girls played well. Hannah was 4th. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I could be wrong about a lot of things, and I see people who prove me wrong, and they move up, and they do very well. So, that'll be all for that. Let me do this. I'm going to put San Antonio. We'll do Sasquatch. Okay, so let's preview San Antonio first. Got a good list. We see some of the girls who just competed. Jordan Brandon's competing. She took 3rd at RGV. So she's one to be looking out for. I definitely think that she's one of the front runners to win this show. I would say that I definitely think that she's one to be looking out for. She could possibly win this show, get some points to qualify for next year. Let's see. We have Brenda, Alessia, Cassandra, we just talked about. Holly Jones is Jordan's athlete. She's also doing the Masters. She turned pro at Junior Nats. I definitely think that she could do very well. Let me see. Yeah. So Holly Jones is one to be looking out for. It's her pro debut. Nikki, this is her rookie season. I'm hoping this is one of the shows that she could do very well in. Huda, she got top 10. This is one of her rookie seasons. Adair, she's back. I definitely think she's going to be one of those top girls. We haven't seen her on stage since, what was it, Hurricane Pro? So we'll see how she comes back, and what she brings in. She was qualified for the Olympia last year, so she did beat Evie Escondar at the Hurricane Pro show that she won. I just think sometimes she comes in way too full or way too conditioned. But let's see what she brings in here. No, goes Europa. Abby, we just talked about. Janae, she's been like 7th, 8th in the past shows. This is her pro season. So a lot of new pros are come to compete now. I would go back to the green suit. I wouldn't do pink because it just looks too Barbie. So she did change that for final, but I would stick with the green suit that she won in. She did do red when she turned pro, and then Ali, I'd say, is the girl to be looking out for and the girl to beat. So I definitely think that she's most likely our front runner. Like her and Jordan are probably our front runners to win the show. Ali was the top Olympian. She made first call outs, got 11th, and then she took second in, I think, the World Classic, and then she won Indy. I definitely see her in the first call out, a potential top 6 girl. Definitely moving up into the top 5. So we'll see. I would say those are our girls to be looking out for. I have to keep going to Europe, but I definitely think those are some of the girls to be looking out for. Anyone else I could think of? All right, and then Sasquatch. We got 30 girls here. All right, so our defending champion is Deanna. We haven't seen her since last year. She is qualified for this year's Olympia because she did win this show last year. So I definitely see her potentially placing, I could see her placing and then eventually moving up. She could be a dark horse at the Olympia. Got an amazing physique. She competed last year, tried to qualify, and then she won Sasquatch. So she hasn't been on stage since essentially last year, on a whole year. So definitely it's taken that time. Let's see what she can do to improve. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Sasquatch is up here. So I just love her look, and I love her whole physique. And I definitely think she's one to be looking out for. So I say that she's our front runner as the defending champion. Then we just talked about Adriana. Irene, we just talked about. And Carrie, we talked about earlier. Alice, we did. Let's see, who else? Who else is someone that... Oh, yeah, Lolo. She's qualified for this year's Olympia. I'd say that she's one to be looking out for. I mean, 1/3 of the girls here are Olympians, so it's almost every show now. It's almost someone's an Olympian or someone who has been a previous Olympia. So Carrie, Alice, we just talked about it. So Alice, I'd say, is one of the girls to go against, Adriana. Let's see if she's up for that test to do very well. Savannah Watchman. So she's now a 2-time Olympian. She won in Tahoe. I like the purple suit on her a lot. Let's see. So I'd say she's one I could say I'd put her... I would say I put her into that top 5, top 6 situation here. Just depends on other girls. Let's see. Renee Harshi. She was Bikini. Then she was a 2-time wellness Olympian. Now she's back in Bikini. She got 9th in RGV. So that's one I would say. I think this one girl, Megan, I think she got top 10. So she's been dating top 10s in shows. So I'd say she's most likely going to be somewhere in the top 10. And then, let's see. Oh, yeah, Lacey. We haven't seen her on stage since Pittsburgh, but she is Olympia qualified. She qualified at Iron Games. She's always someone that's a top 2, top 3 girl in shows. So we'll see what she brings. You know, I wish I could see more of her. She has such an like she has like a she's like I'd say like she's like almost like a taller Jen Dory. You know, she's former Junior USA's overall winner. I would go. I'm hoping she goes back to the purple suit versus the red suit. But got amazing physique. You know, I just want to see more of her versus just doing a couple shows and then being a one and done. So, I mean, with this whole new points thing, if she wants to go back to Olympia, she wants to do her well, she has to continue to compete. But got such an amazing shape and amazing physique. Like beautiful stage presence from her. Like the hair, the whole shape, she's almost like a taller Jen, like Jen Fedore's long lost sister. I know, right? Anyone else? No, that's Raisin Phoenix. Anyone else? Okay. Anyone that I'm not seeing? No? All right. Predictions. Ready? I definitely think Sasquatch is a show to watch. So I'll go, and I wrote this down. I'm going to go Alice. Actually, I think Alice is going to be someone to win, but I sometimes think Deanna is going to be a little more fresh. But I think Deanna does well when she does multiple peaks. So I'm going to put Alice, Deanna. I'm going to go Lacey, Adriana. I'll go Lolo. Savannah, Carrie, Irene, Renee, Megan. I do think it could change with these three. I'd have these three as like most likely gonna take it. But I'll be surprised if someone moves up or takes one of their places. All right. San Antonio. I'm going Allie, Jordan, Adair, Cass, Nikki, Janae, Alessia. Wait, hold on. I gotta do this again. I'm gonna go Alessia, Cass. I'm thinking how Alessia did at her last show, and it was not even in US, but she's better in US. I mean, I definitely think the more muscular girl gonna get awarded. Nikki, Adair, Alessia, Cass, Nikki, Janae, Abby, Huda, Brenda. It's so hard to pick after like top 3, top 4. I mean, I'm looking at the Olympia and I'm just thinking how that's going to even go. But I think I'm solid with my picks. All right, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, tell me who you guys think are winning and what you guys think who's going to most likely take this win and try to get some points. So, like I said, top 5 get points. It's like this. If somebody wins 2 shows, then they're automatically qualified. So, I mean, I don't know who's going to do. I mean, most likely, I'd say girls are going to most likely do this show and Daytona and Southern Muscle. So we'll see who does that. I know Southern Muscle is 1 week before the Olympia. So we have a couple shows. There are shows outside the US. I don't know if I'm going to cover them as much just because, we don't know many of the competitors, and, it's much different from Europe. But I'd like, if it is like stars in this show, then I'll talk about them. But I got to see more than just one person running the show. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this whole thing goes. And yeah, you guys take care.